Act tax cuts expire, by letting health care slip away from families all across our country, today the majority in this body appears to be prepared to do precisely that. Now, just a comment or two about my colleague and friend Senator Cassidy's presentation about the Republican plan just now. Senator Cassidy and I are good friends, and we work on a lot of bipartisan health care legislation today. But let's be clear, the Republican plan that he's talking about doesn't help people afford their premiums in the first place. That's what this is about. And the other issue that my colleague raised about the Hyde Amendment applies to the Affordable Care Act already. What the Republican plan does is now say that people who pay private premium dollars into the ACA cannot use their private dollars to fund what's called elective abortions. So I just want to be clear about those 2 points. And now I want to talk about the progress we've made and the progress we still need to make when it comes to the Affordable Care Act. It's easy to take for granted now as we have grown accustomed to its benefits, but the Affordable Care Act was an important milestone in expanding opportunity for more Americans. The ACA helped millions of Americans who were previously unable to afford insurance to get life-saving care for themselves and their families without breaking the bank or facing bankruptcy. It allowed Americans who have pre-existing conditions to actually buy insurance. It ended lifetime caps on how much treatment people could get. Is the Affordable Care Act perfect? No. It was the product of a legislative compromise. But has the Affordable Care Act made Americans healthier, strengthened our economy, and saved lives? Yes. I want to remind people what our health care system was like before the ACA was passed. People with pre-existing conditions could not get health insurance unless they worked for an employer who offered a group plan, and even then, they had to work enough hours to qualify for that plan. Even people who had insurance were subjected to something called lifetime caps. Often the cap was about $1 million, meaning that if you had a terrible accident or expensive disease, the insurer simply stopped covering your care when the limit was reached, regardless of how long you'd been paying your premiums and regardless of whether you still needed life-saving care. Preventive care could be expensive and was often excluded from health insurance coverage. Now, the ACA changed that. People with pre-existing conditions can now buy insurance. People between jobs can buy insurance. Self-employed people can buy insurance. Life-saving and cost-saving preventive care is covered at no charge, and there are no lifetime limits on care. Now, the smart thing for us to do right now would be for us to build on this progress. There's no shortage of ways in which we need to improve our healthcare system. We need to lower healthcare costs, and there are good bipartisan proposals in this body to do that. And we need to end the inefficient and harmful fragmentation of care. I am ready to work together on a bipartisan basis to do just that. But rather than tackle those problems, the Trump administration has actively worked to make health care even less affordable. This summer, the Republicans gutted Medicaid in order to pay for tax breaks for billionaires. Now, with tax credits for the Affordable Care Act due to expire, the President and Washington Republicans will instead allow health insurance premiums to skyrocket for millions of Americans. The American people asked for lower costs. The President is handing them a steeper bill. In recent weeks, too many of the conversations in this chamber about the path forward have gotten stuck in the abstract. We've seen proposals that resemble ideological wish lists rather than the type of compromise that would recognize the reality that Americans are facing on the ground. But I can assure you that for my constituents, rising health care costs are not abstract. It's not abstract for a Granite Stater who will have to pay $1,000 more a month for health insurance. It's not abstract for the family that depended on these tax cuts in order to make ends meet, who don't know if they'll have to pull from their savings or find a cheaper place to rent just to afford these new premiums. And it is not abstract for the untold number of Americans who will miss out on routine care and preventive screenings for cancer and other diseases because they couldn't afford their new premiums. I find myself struck by some of the words that we use in this chamber to talk about health care: risk pool, cost sharing, silver tier, gold tier. Behind all these words and jargon, we're talking about people. We're talking about being sick and being healthy, about living with dignity or struggling in despair. We're talking about living and dying. This is an issue that demands the most serious of leadership. But plainly, that's just not what the American people are getting from Donald Trump's Washington today. Today's vote leaves me with a simple question, a question that the majority in this body ought to answer. But by your vote today to make insurance premiums more expensive, who in America wins? The majority in this body may carry the day with their votes, but who exactly will this victory be for? What family will be made better off by health insurance becoming more expensive? Which child is going to become healthier? Make no mistake, today's health care vote is more than a vote on a single bill. In a greater sense, in the fight to make American life more affordable, in the effort to save the American people from a looming health care calamity, the majority of this body, the majority in the House, and above all, the President himself, are, in short, choosing to abstain. They are throwing up their hands, essentially saying, nothing we can do here. Given the choice between keeping health care premiums from skyrocketing for millions of Americans or letting these tax cuts expire, the President is content to do nothing. In the face of this health care crisis, in the face of Americans of all political stripes clamoring for a solution, the Republican majority is deciding that the world's greatest deliberative body ought to shrug its shoulders and abdicate its responsibility. So yes, I'll close with this. It's a bad day for this country and for the United States Senate. And it's a day that the American people will remember. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the floor.
Mr. President.
Senator Idaho.
Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent to speak for up to 5 minutes prior to the scheduled roll call vote.
Without objection.
Thank you, Mr. President. Also, Mr. President, I have 6 requests for committees to meet during today's session of the Senate. They have the approval of the majority and minority leader.
Duly noted.
Thank you, Mr. President. We've spent a lot of time this week talking about the problems of our healthcare system. Premiums are rising, hospitals are struggling, and out-of-pocket costs are out of control. These problems are not new. And frankly, notwithstanding all of the rhetoric of my colleagues from the other side, the fact is these enhanced premium tax credits that we're debating today, if they were extended or not extended, are not going to change the fact that premiums are skyrocketing. They're skyrocketing because of the failure of our current healthcare system. These problems were used to justify Obamacare in the first place, and Obamacare has progressively made them worse. Americans did not keep their doctors, as was promised under Obamacare. Americans did not keep their insurance plans, and their premiums did not go down. In fact, Obamacare premiums have risen at roughly double the rate of employer-provided health care plans since their inception. Our Democrat colleagues have only had one response to these skyrocketing premiums: more spending, which they claim is going to stop premium increases. In fact, facilitates greater premium increases. Without ever winning a single Republican vote, they created the Obama premium tax credits, expanded them to all Americans, to Americans of all income levels, and then extended that expansion. These credits did not reduce costs and did not reduce premiums. All they did was shift the cost to taxpayers and help insurance companies to continue to hike premiums higher and higher. Democrats know that Obamacare has failed. They themselves have said so on this floor. But with a deadline quickly approaching again, a deadline that was set by my own Democrat colleagues, they say we have no choice but to extend this failed policy one more time on these premium tax credits. This is a policy they could not even make permanent when they controlled the presidency, the Senate, and the House. Even so, their only offer is more spending. They call their plan a clean extension, a 3-year extension of this program with no reforms, costing hardworking families $83 billion, with tens of billions of dollars going to insurance companies and fraudsters, is anything but clean. Twice on this floor this week, Republicans have offered the Democrats a unanimous consent to have a temporary extension of these premium tax credits with needed reforms to address waste and fraud and abuse that is rampant. And twice this week, that's been rejected. The Government Accountability Office recently uncovered how embarrassingly easy it is to game this Obamacare subsidy system, with the Wall Street Journal calling it a mecca for fraud. Even the Washington Post recognized that Obamacare subsidies make it too easy to scam the system. Fortunately, we have another option. Instead of the Minority Leader's $83 billion extension, which would do absolutely nothing to reduce fraud and would keep driving premiums higher, Senator Cassidy and I have offered a fiscally responsible proposal that will reduce premiums, save taxpayers money, and give Americans control over their health care. Our bill provides pre-funded, patient-driven health savings accounts for Americans enrolled in qualified Obamacare bronze and catastrophic plans. Importantly, low-income Americans will still receive subsidies for those Obamacare plans through the permanent portion of the premium tax credit system. Americans who choose this option will have both insurance coverage and help paying for their remaining out-of-pocket costs, all without giving insurance companies a reason to enroll them in plans without their knowledge, as has occurred for years. Our bill also fixes an error in the original design of Obamacare by funding the cost-sharing reductions that it mandated, reducing benchmark premiums by 11%. Let me point that out. That piece of our proposal will reduce premiums by 11%. The Minority Leader's plan is not going to pass. But if just a few of my Democrat colleagues will join us in voting for our bill, we can put this crisis behind us and lay the groundwork for true reforms. For instance, Senator Wyden and I remain intent on getting our bipartisan pharmacy benefit manager reform to the President's desk. We have many other bipartisan agreements on needed health care reforms that we need to move forward on. The choice before us is clear. We can continue with business as usual and extend the same policy that has brought our health care system to the point where every member of this body admits that it's broken. Or we can try something different. We can change the incentives that Obamacare gives insurers to drive premiums higher and put our confidence in Americans to make the best decisions about their own health care. If we fall off the Democrat-created subsidy cliff, it will not be because we did not have a different choice. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the floor.
President.
Minority Leader.
Mr. President, today is D-Day, decision day for Republican senators. Will Republicans side with the American people and avert the disastrous impending health care crisis? Or will they abandon American families as premiums shoot through the roof come January 1st? In a few moments, the Senate will vote on two bills, the Republican bill and Democrats' clean, simple extension of the ACA tax credits. I say to my Republican colleagues, our bill is the last train to leave the station. It is the only realistic option before the Senate today that solves the health care crisis. If Republicans don't climb aboard, there won't be another chance to act before premiums skyrocket next year. Now, Republicans have dithered long enough. Democrats are fighting to lower costs for the American people, while Republicans are fighting among themselves. And let me say this about the Republican bill. The Republican bill is not true health care reform. It is not a health care plan whatsoever. It is junk insurance. The Republican bill is simply junk insurance. For a while, it actually looked like the Republicans wouldn't put up a bill at all. But after that became too embarrassing an option for them, they used Scotch tape and glue to come up with this ridiculous proposal that can't be taken seriously. The Republican plan does nothing to extend the tax credits for even a day. Our bill, of course, extends them for 3 years. Under the Republican plan, the big idea is essentially to hand people about $80 a month and wish them good luck, say you're on your own no matter what happens. And to even qualify for that check, Americans would be forced onto bare-bone bronze plans with sky-high deductibles, $7,000 or $10,000 for an individual and tens of thousands for a couple. So the deductibles are so high that even that is not paid for by the $80 a month. And then Americans are stuck and have nothing. The Republican plan is a when you get sick, you go broke plan. Plain and simple. The only answer, the only right answer to solve this crisis is what Democrats propose today, a clean, simple extension of current tax credits. Our bill is the only plan that halts premiums from shooting through the roof. And as Americans know, this is not a symbolic vote. This is a life and death vote for millions of people wondering if they'll be able to afford health insurance next year. Millions will lose health insurance. Tens of millions will have to change plans and doctors and get high deductibles and high co-payments that they can hardly afford health care if we don't do this. So America is counting on us, the Senate. Republicans, America is counting on you to do the right thing and vote yes on our bill. A yes vote on our bill means premiums will not double or triple or more starting January 1st. A yes vote means lower costs for the American people and greater help for them to pay for the things they need. A yes vote means dignity, security, and peace of mind for tens of millions of American families. It means our health care system averts a disaster. There is only one right thing to do, and that's for Republicans to vote yes on our bill. The American people will not forget which way senators vote today. I yield the floor.
Can we finally vote? Thank you. The clerk will report the motion to invoke cloture.
Cloture motion. We, the undersigned senators, in accordance with the provisions of Rule 22 of the Standing Rules of the Senate, do hereby move to bring to a close debate on the motion to proceed to calendar number 285, S3386, a bill to provide health savings account contribution to certain enrollees to reduce health care costs and for other purposes, signed by 17 senators.
Under the previous order, the mandatory quorum call under Rule 22 has been waived. The question is it the sense of the Senate that debate on the motion to proceed to S3386, a bill to provide a health savings account contribution to certain enrollees to reduce health care costs and for other purposes shall be brought to a close? The yeas and nays are mandatory under the rule. The clerk will call the roll.
Ms. Also-Brooks, Ms. Baldwin, Mr. Banks, Mr. Barrasso. Mr. Bennett. Mrs. Blackburn. Mr. Blumenthal. Ms. Rochester. Mr. Booker. Mr. Bozeman. Mrs. Britt. Mr. Budd. Ms. Cantwell, Mrs. Capito, Mr. Cassidy, Ms. Collins, Mr. Coons, Mr. Cornyn, Ms. Cortez Masto, Mr. Cotton, Mr. Kramer, Mr. Crapo, Mr. Cruz, Mr. Curtis, Mr. Daines, Ms. Duckworth, Mr. Durbin, Ms. Ernst, Mr. Fetterman, Mrs. Fisher, Mr. Gallego, Mrs. Gillibrand, Mr. Graham, Mr. Grassley, Mr. Haggerty, Ms. Hassan, Mr. Hawley, Mr. Heinrich, Mr. Hickenlooper, Ms. Hirono, Mr. Hoven, Mr. Husted, Mrs. Hyde-Smith, Mr. Johnson, Mr. Justice, Mr. Kane, Mr. Kelly, Mr. Kennedy, Mr. Kim, Mr. King, Ms. Klobuchar, Mr. Langford, Mr. Lee, Mr. Lujan, Ms. Lummis, Mr. Markey, Mr. Marshall, Mr. McConnell, Mr. McCormick, Mr. Merkley, Mrs. Moody, Mr. Moran, Mr. Moreno, Mr. Mullen, Ms. Murkowski, Mr. Murphy, Mrs. Murray, Mr. Ossoff, Mr. Padilla, Mr. Paul, Mr. Peters, Mr. Reed, Mr. Ricketts, Mr. Risch, Ms. Rosen, Mr. Rounds, Mr. Sanders, Mr. Schatz, Mr. Schiff, Mr. Schmidt, Mr. Schumer, Mr. Scott of Florida, Mr. Scott of South Carolina, Mrs. Shaheen, Mr. Sheehy, Ms. Slotkin, Ms. Smith, Mr. Sullivan, Mr. Thune, Mr. Tillis, Mr. Tuberville, Mr. Van Hollen, Mr. Warner, Mr. Warnock, Ms. Warren, Mr. Welch, Mr. Whitehouse, Mr. Wicker, Mr. Wyden, Mr. Young. Senators voting in the affirmative: Barrasso, Cassidy, Cornyn, Cotton, Crapo, Kennedy, Marshall, Ricketts, Scott of Florida, Sheehy, Baldwin. Senators voting in the negative: Baldwin, Fetterman, Kelly, Kim, Klobuchar, Lujan, Murray, Ossoff, Shaheen. Mrs. Capito, aye. Mr. Kramer, aye. Ms. Slotkin, no. Mr. Durbin, no. Mr. Peters, no. Ms. Cantwell, no. Mrs. Moody, aye. Ms. Hassan, no. Mr. Wyden, no. Mr. Curtis, aye. Mr. Kane, no. Mr. Husted, aye. Mr. Coons, no. Mr. Gallego, no. Mr. Welch, no. Mr. Warnock, no.
What are you doing this weekend?
Mr. Johnson, aye.
I have to get my kids.
Mr. Reed, no. Mr. Haggerty, aye. Mr. Schumer, no. Ms. Duckworth, no. Mr. Schatz, no. Mr. Blumenthal, no. Mr. Young, aye. Mr. Wicker, aye. Mr. Rounds, aye.
They're brown on the farm. Yeah.
Mr. Budd, aye.
Years I like that. This year I have like
Mr. Schiff, no. Mr. Hawley, aye. Mr. Mullen, aye. Mr. Van Hollen, Mr. Van Hollen, no. Mr. Langford, aye. Ms. Lummis, aye. Ms. Smith, no. Mr. Heinrich, no. Mrs. Gillibrand, no. Mr. Murphy, no. Mr. Markey, no. Ms. Collins, aye. Mr. Grassley, aye. Mr. Merkley, no. Mr. McCormick, aye. Yes. Yes. Ms. Rosen, no. Mr. King, no. Mr. Banks, aye. Mrs. Blackburn, aye. Ms. Cortez Masto, no. Mr. Lee, aye. Mr. Warner, no. Mr. Scott of South Carolina, aye. Mr. Padilla, no. Mrs. Hyde Smith, aye. Mr. Moran, aye. Mr. Thune, aye. Mr. Paul, no. Ms. Markowski, aye. Mr. Risch. Mr. Risch. Aye. Mr. Sanders. Mr. Sanders, no. Ms. Ernst. Ms. Ernst, aye. Mr. Justice. Mr. Justice, aye. Mr. Cruz. Mr. Cruz, aye. Mr. Sullivan. Mr. Sullivan, aye. Mrs. Brett. Mrs. Brett, aye. Mr. Bozeman. Mr. Bozeman, aye. Ms. Blunt Rochester. Ms. Blunt Rochester, no. Mr. Bennett. Mr. Bennett, no. Ms. Warren. Ms. Warren, no. Mr. Hoven, aye. Mr. Moreno, aye. Mr. Hickenlooper, no. Mr. McConnell, aye. Ms. Alsobrooks, no. Mr. Graham, aye. Mr. Tuberville, aye. Ms. Hirono, no. Mr. Schmidt, aye. Mrs. Fisher, aye. Mr. Booker, no. Mr. Tillis, aye. Mr. Whitehouse, no.
On this vote, the yeas are 51, the nays are 48. 3/5 of the Senate's daily, I can't read that, daily chosen.
3/5 of the senators duly chosen.
3/5 of the senators duly chosen and sworn. Not having voted in the affirmative, the motion is not agreed to. You guys got to get bigger type for us. All right, start here. The clerk will report the motion to invoke cloture.
Cloture motion, we, the undersigned senators, in accordance with the provisions of Rule 22 of the Standing Rules of the Senate, do hereby move to bring to a close the debate on the motion to proceed to calendar number 284, S3385, a bill to amend the Internal Revenue Code of 1986 to extend the enhancement of the health care premium tax credit, signed by 17 senators.
Under the previous order, the mandatory quorum call under Rule 22 has been waived. The question is it the sense of the Senate that debate on the motion to proceed to S3385, a bill to amend the Internal Revenue Code of 1986 to extend the enhancement of the health care premium tax credit shall be brought to a close? The yeas and nays are mandatory under the rule. The clerk will call the roll.
Ms. Also Brooks. Thank you. Mrs. Baldwin, Ms. Baldwin, Mr. Banks, Mr. Barrasso, Mr. Bennett, Mrs. Blackburn, Mr. Blumenthal, Ms. Blunt-Rochester, Mr. Booker, Mr. Bozeman, Mrs. Britt, Mr. Budd, Ms. Cantwell, Mrs. Capito, Mr. Cassidy, Ms. Collins, Mr. Coons, Mr. Cornyn, Mr. Cornyn, Ms. Cortez Masto, Mr. Cotton, Mr. Kramer, Mr. Crapo, Mr. Cruz, Mr. Curtis, Mr. Daines, Ms. Duckworth, Mr. Durbin, Ms. Ernst, Mr. Fetterman, Mrs. Fisher, Mr. Gallego, Mrs. Gillibrand, Mr. Graham, Mr. Grassley, Mr. Haggerty. Thank Mr. Grassley, Mr. Haggerty. Ms. Hassan, Mr. Hawley. Mr. Hawley, Mr. Heinrich, Mr. Hickenlooper, Ms. Hirono, Mr. Hoban, Mr. Husted, Mrs. Hyde-Smith, Mr. Johnson, Mr. Justice, Mr. Kane, Mr. Kelly, Mr. Kennedy, Mr. Kim, Mr. King, Ms. Klobuchar, Mr. Langford, Mr. Lee, Mr. Lujan, Ms. Lummis, Mr. Markey, Mr. Marshall, Mr. McConnell, Mr. McCormick, Mr. Merkley, Mrs. Moody, Mr. Moran, Mr. Marino, Mr. Mullen, Ms. Murkowski, Mr. Murphy, Mrs. Murray, Mr. Ossoff, Mr. Padilla, Mr. Paul, Mr. Peters, Mr. Reed, Mr. Ricketts, Mr. Risch, Ms. Rosen, Mr. Rounds, Mr. Sanders, Mr. Schatz, Mr. Schiff, Mr. Schmidt, Mr. Schmidt, Mr. Schumer, Mr. Scott of Florida, Mr. Scott of South Carolina, Mrs. Shaheen, Mr. Sheehy, Ms. Slotkin, Ms. Smith, Mr. Sullivan, Mr. Thune, Mr. Tillis, Mr. Tuberville, Mr. Van Hollen, Mr. Warner, Mr. Warnock, Ms. Warren, Mr. Welch, Mr. Whitehouse, Mr. Wicker, Mr. Wyden, Mr. Young. Senators voting in the affirmative: Also Brooks, Blumenthal, Blunt-Rochester, Booker, Collins, Cortez Masto, Durbin, Fetterman, Gallego, Hickenlooper, Hirono, Kane, King, Merkley, Murkowski, Murphy, Murray, Reed, Rosen, Sanders, Schumer, Shaheen, Smith, Warren, Whitehouse, and Wyden. Senators voting in the negative: Banks, Barrasso, Blackburn, Bozeman, Britt, Budd, Cassidy, Ernst, Fisher, Grassley, Haggerty, Hoven, Husted, Justice, Lummis, Marshall, McConnell, McCormick, Moran, Mullen, Paul, Schmidt, Thune, Tillis, Tuberville, and Wicker. Mr. Schatz, aye. Mr. Kramer, no. Mr. Crapo, no. Mr. Bennett, aye. Mr. Coons, aye. Mrs. Hyde-Smith, no. Mr. Markey, aye. Mr. Lee, no. Mr. Cotton, no. Mr. Sullivan, aye. Mr. Cornyn, no. Mr. Kelly, aye. Mr. Sheehy, Mr. Sheehy, no. Ms. Hassan, aye. Mr. Kennedy, no. Mr. Schiff, aye. Mrs. Gillibrand, aye. Mr. Lujan, aye. Mr. Langford, no. Mr. Scott of Florida, no. Mr. Padilla, aye. Mr. Kim, aye. Mr. Ricketts, no. Mr. Graham, no. Ms. Cantwell, aye. Mr. Peters, aye. Mrs. Capito, no. Mr. Johnson, no. Mr. Warnock, aye. Mr. Scott. Mr. Scott of South Carolina, no. Mr. Curtis. Mr. Curtis, no. Mr. Ossoff. Mr. Ossoff, aye. Ms. Slotkin. Ms. Slotkin, aye. Mr. Cruz. Mr. Cruz, no. Mr. Welch. Mr. Welch, aye. Mr. Moreno. Mr. Moreno, no. Mr. Van Hollen. Mr. Van Hollen, aye. Mr. Heinrich. Mr. Heinrich, aye. Ms. Baldwin. Ms. Baldwin, aye. Mr. Rounds. Mr. Rounds, no. Mr. Young. Mr. Young, no. Ms. Duckworth. Ms. Duckworth, aye. Mr. Hawley. Mr. Hawley, aye. Mrs. Moody. Mrs. Moody, no. Ms. Klobuchar. Ms. Klobuchar, aye. Mr. Warner. Mr. Warner, aye.